I keep telling you, you're going to be first.
I know. Is it happy holidays to everyone out there and to you, Captain? I'm getting excited. I got my Christmas music on, my tree up, my lights all over my house, my poinsettias. I'm ready to go. Hey,
That's nice. Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, my Raider tree's been up for 3 years, so that's one thing I don't have to worry about.
every year.
Yeah. Well, no, it just stays up,
That's
because
what I'm saying.
yeah,
No
it's
rush to
great.
find it in the
Yeah.
closet and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
those kind of things.
It's the
Yeah.
Raider tree. Now, one of these days, and I wanted to actually put up the other tree in the other room, but somebody who shall remain nameless is like, nah, I don't want it. So okay, so we got the little. It's one of those light tree, with the lights, and it changes colors and things like that, and the branches. So that's in the window. So
Hmm.
that's there. I've got a little bit of a string of lights outside. I got Santa and a snowman in the living room. So if you come in, you'll see a nice Santa in the snowman. And if you didn't see the Facebook and IG picture, NFL Properties owes me money
Oh, they do.
because
But they,
because because of that. What do you call it? What do you call it? A gnome? The fluffy gnome. That's me, man. That's
mhm.
me.
Yeah, they
So
can't use your likeness. And we are going to get a Christmas Day treat in Raider Nation. We are going to see the Kansas City Chiefs. And let me tell you, for the first time, I don't know about everybody out there, but for the first time, I'm a little positive about this massive matchup. In recent years, I'm like, eh. But there are several reasons why I'm positive about this matchup. And and I want to tell you that when you build a championship team, there are little tiny things that start to change about your team. You may not be winning more games, but there are tiny things that change. Let's take the penalties, okay, of this Raider team all year long, really. Penalties, Captain, I don't know about you, but penalties mean two things. One, you're being outplayed, right?
mm,
You're snatching, grabbing, doing crazy things to stop from getting beat, or you're afraid, so you false start, or you try to get off the line, to beat the guy because he's manhandling you. The
mhm.
Raiders, believe it or not, have the lowest penalty rate in the league as of right now.
Ho ho! Wait a second. And
Yep.
and I don't smoke anything or take any illicit drugs, but that's got to be a typo.
No.
Well,
And I
then it
saw it
can't be
all
that.
year long. And
Uh,
this is if we have one legacy from McDaniels besides intense hatred for the New England Patriots, just amplified. But
mhm.
another legacy that McDaniels left behind, and I give the devil his due, he brought those penalties down. That's something Gruden couldn't do, Del Rio, nobody has. We have been averaging 7 to 8 penalties a game. And Captain, I do not have to remind you once again of our experience in Tampa Bay. You and I sitting shoulder to shoulder,
That's
20,
right.
23 penalties.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That had to be. The Raiders are averaging, get this, folks, a mere 3.78 penalties per game. And it's been consistent, even though we've been losing. And I'm telling you, it's the little things that build a championship. The other thing is our defense. Captain, I cannot tell you after years of just complaining, 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 I am one of the happiest girls in this world. One
No.
chapter,
No,
but
you never complained about the defense or the lack of
oh,
an interior push. That
it's sad.
wasn't you. No,
That
that wasn't
wasn't
you.
me. That was my double.
That's right. That
When
was your
you
doppelganger,
play
baby.
good defense, you keep yourself in ball games. Let me repeat that. When you play good defense, you keep your team in the game. Look at what happened against Miami. We had a shot to win that game against a team that has been blowing the doors off of everybody else offensively. We execute on that final drive. We tied time with the Miami Dolphins. Why? Defense.
Yeah.
And everybody, of course, was really upset about the Viking game. But, Captain, I want to talk once more about defense. I want to talk about a 3-0 game, which meant we were in the game the whole time.
Yeah.
A touchdown would have won this game.
Or 2 safeties.
Well,
yeah.
And let me also say the play of the special teams as well.
Uh-huh.
We have I don't care what anybody says, we have the second highest punter in the NFL right now, AJ Cole. That guy is a weapon. A la Ray Guy style. He, along with that defense, helped keep Minnesota so pinned all game long. They were always facing 80, 90-yard drives to score touchdowns. And they did not score a touchdown. Now, neither did we. And that's a conversation that we'll get into. But look at the little things that are changing our franchise and the philosophy that defense matters. You can see the sudden shift with Pierce now, our head coach, interim head coach. It shifted, hasn't it?
Yeah,
defense is the priority.
And one of the things that I wish would shift is that title. Get that interim off. Get the interim off, because I think he's done enough. But everybody, and even me, says it's one of those things where I still want to see this and that, because not that people like shall we say Asylum are from the show me state, because
that's right.
He's not in Misery, but he's in Kansas, which he's next door to Misery. But yeah, it's one of those things where you want to see more and more and more.
That's right.
And that's what I want to see too.
Captain, is so intriguing. People want to know, well, how do you build a championship team? Well, you certainly don't go out and hire a coach and hocus pocus. In 1 year, you've got a championship. That only happens in San Francisco. And as we well know, the ride lasts maybe 2 or 3 years, and then they're back down to winning 4 games a year again. Up and down, a roller coaster. How do you build a dynasty that consistently wins games and keeps you in Super Bowl contention? Two things that I see that are positive steps in that direction. Penalties, of course, the special teams, along with that defensive emphasis on the team. Now, we can talk about that Charger game, Captain. I want to know. And by the way, I have a question for the audience, and I hope they weigh in. If you were to name an offensive MVP, who would you name right now? I don't want to hear about it. I know who the defensive MVP is. Everybody's going to say Crosby. I want to hear, if you have an offensive, who is your choice for offensive MVP for the Raiders? That's what I want to know.
Captain. First off, don't be so. And again, I like Crosby. I like the intensity that he brings. Okay, what? and him and his mom and me are, I'm not name dropping, but me and B we be tight. We be tight. But if we're gonna go with maybe the 1 and the 1A, because everybody forgets about a boy, he's a man by the name of Spillane that keeps that defense charged. Spillane with Crosby is kind of like the Phil Villapiano and the Ted Hendricks. You know, Ted, they're both linebackers, but Crosby playing that rush guy. And you know, how Ted and Phil were always kind of like feeding off each other there, you know, in days. I think it's kind of like Crosby and Spillane feeding off each other to get everybody else to do their job. So there you go.
Yeah, Spillane would be, but I want to talk about that Charger game.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's talk about offensive line.
Okay. Oh, he's bringing me down, man. Oh, he's bringing me down.
What did you see that they were doing differently that they hadn't done in the previous 14 weeks?
Well, I saw one thing that they did do that they didn't do in LA. And that was keeping a certain person with the number 52 from getting shot. Okay. You know, I'm just saying, you know, it became 50 who again for the game out in Vegas. You know, it was 50 who, and then you saw all of the little pan. And I didn't see it because I was at the game. The pan and shot of Khalil looking downtrodden and upset, and it's like, oh,
what was he upset about? That he didn't get his sacks, or that his defense, he gave up 63 points?
Well, and a lot of that, yeah. But granted, technically, their defense only gave us 63, 53.
No. Minus 14. Let's be fair.
That's what I was going to say.
Because our 49 defense rose to another level in that game. As I said to people before, defenses have 3 levels. First is just competence, everybody doing their job. The second is turnovers. Okay? When you can cause turnovers. But the third level is your defense scores. That is a defense that's playing on a high level. And they scored not once, but twice.
Not one, not two. No, actually 2. Yeah, I was going to do the whole LeBron thing, but, you know, it stopped at 2. 2 scores. 2.
And 2 scores. But let's go back. You see, I had to watch that game 6 times on film. And then I had to go to someone's house and get me a clicker so I could really slow down the motion, because I needed to see what that O-line was doing different. Where 4 days before, they didn't know what a pocket was. Okay, they couldn't spell pocket. 4 days later, I get the perfect arc of a pocket around Aiden O'Connell. How is that possible? 4 days later, one day I'm rushing for 30. Our leading rusher, Jacobs, runs for 34 yards. 4 days later, the leading rusher has 69 yards. And oh, by the way, it is now running back by committee, which we were doing in the John Madden days. In the good old days when we were actually winning Super Bowls. But let's go to there. What would the O-line doing different? I wonder if anybody knows. Let me tell you, start off first. Everyone was involved in blocking. That includes the running backs.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking about, I have a pass. I'm out for a pass. I'm a wide receiver. Why should I be involved in blocking? No, everyone was involved in blocking, even Devontae. They understood, especially if you're in that slot position, you got to chip somebody on the way out. I saw Bolden do it. I saw White do it. I saw Abdullah do it. You're going out in the flat for a pass. You got to chip somebody. You got to hit somebody on the way out.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what they were doing. This perfect arc, okay, that we were talking about was augmented by the tight ends, both of them finally figuring out that they have to block like O linemen, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they have to sell it if the pass play is to them. They have to sell it by the stance that they get in at the line of scrimmage. You should see the way Meyer sold his. It was Academy Award winning.
Mm-hmm.
The way he gets into a stance, he actually takes on a D lineman. The D lineman gets pushed. He pushes him inside, and then he breaks off into a pass pattern. All of
Mm-hmm.
that happened within 5 seconds. Okay, that was another thing I saw different. And I want people to go back if they doubt. How did we get that boy time to throw, which he has to have, okay, in order to be successful? How did we get the ball to Trey Tucker for not one, Captain, but 2 touchdowns?
Mm-hmm.
How do we have time to throw those balls? Why was the Charger defense tricked by something that they should have seen on film, which was Aiden passes to Jacoby Meyer? And what does Meyer do? Instead of a wide receiver screen, like everybody thought, he stops. And what does he do? Not only that, on the way out, Devontae on his pass pattern on that play, that trick play,
2 of them.
Devontae chipped 2 linebackers on the way out.
Mm-hmm.
And that gave the delusion that he was going to stop, turn around, and wait for the ball. Instead, he kept going.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that was covering him was caught off guard. He thought Devontae was going to go inside. And instead, he just went right around to the corner of the end zone. There was Meyer.
Yeah, but the other thing was, and you forget though, that Meyer threw Devontae his first pass. What was for a first down, where Devontae was at the sticks. So it worked twice with Myers throwing the ball to him.
But the first time Myers runs that route, Devontae runs that route directly, okay, from the wide receiver position. He isn't trying to fake it inside.
Mm-hmm.
He just runs directly to the stick, and there's Meyer with the ball. That works. But at the goal line, you gotta, like I said, Academy Award performances. You have to sell them something that's not there.
Well, actually, Peggy, I wouldn't call it. I mean, yeah, it is an Academy Award performance, but it's only an Academy Award performance because that's what they're supposed to do each and every time. It's not that they're selling something and they need to be on stage with an Oscar in their hand. It's like that's what you're supposed to do each and every time. You go out, you chip, you go out, in your tie-in, you make sure you hit the bastard in front of you before you go out, and then you worm and wiggle. You find it. You find the area. I said with Devontae going across the middle, Pam, there's 1. Pam, there's 2. And then I'm going around and I'm still catching the ball. If you're in my way and you're not wearing my color uniform, I'm going to come and greet you in such a way that you're going to know that I'm here. So that's the way it is. That's the way it should be.
We're talking about things the offensive line did differently against San Diego that they hadn't done all season long. Third thing, zone blocking. Did you see it? Did you see the zone blocking? First time this season, especially on the runs.
Okay, I'll take your word for it because again, Peggy, when I'm at my vantage point.
Yeah, that's right. Captain is in the house.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying that because you are watching. Plus, you get the replay and the second replay, and the schmucks talking over the top of the replays. I just see it once, and I just see man on man, helmet on helmet. I can't tell honestly, if it's a zone scheme or a power scheme. I just see guys hitting each other. So I'm just saying, whatever they were doing well that they hadn't done.
This is why Brasillo is the O-line coach is still on my most wanted list. And oh, by the way, guys, now I'm offering a $20,000 reward for his head because it took until game 15 and the intervention of Adam Gazy, which we'll talk about later. He was one of those consultants we brought in. That finally got this offense. The other thing I saw was, did you see the guards pulling?
Yes.
Especially in front of that Bolden play.
Yes.
Not only the guard, I saw, and of course you saw the tackle pulling as well. But guards pulling is something new for the Raiders offense. Completely new. The guards actually going in the opposite direction to block in front of the running play instead of getting blown up at the line of scrimmage as usual. I wonder how many people saw that. Something changed, right? But now I'm breaking it down step by step. What changed?
One other thing that changed was Parham being in at center, and I wanted to
that
see. That
was my last point. I'm getting ready.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I jumped on. I jumped on because I saw a particularly. It was quicker, faster, and he was looking up and looking to get entangled with somebody. It was that he was more involved in the offensive scheme, Parham, than James was. Okay, in my estimation.
Only that, let's go back to football fundamentals 101. Who calls signals on the offensive line?
That would be your center.
Mm-hmm. Who's been calling the signals all season long? The blocking schemes and the signals. That, oh, by the way, haven't worked all year long.
Mm-hmm.
He was gone.
Yeah.
The other thing is Parham's size. You know he's only 285 pounds.
Yes, and that was my next thing that I was going to ask about because again,
he doesn't belong at any position but center at 285.
The other thing that you're saying about, because again, that was my next kind of tidbit, is the fact that you're saying that we need more ass
much
on
more.
the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but if you're going to do an ass count, Parham's ass ain't. I mean, I'm almost. I hate saying this. I'm almost as big as Parham. Granted, I'm not as big as Parham, but I'm almost as big as Mr. Parham. And if we're going to say that, I'm like, wow, it's because I'm kind of small when it comes down to offensive linemen. But he has the ability as the center, and I've been saying that he should have been center since last year. I was actually kind of surprised that he stayed as guard for all this time. Now,
well, why do you think I upped my reward offer for Brasillo's head? That's something an O-line coach is supposed to recognize right away.
Well, remember, we got friends in New York, Peggy. Not that I'm saying anything that we all don't know. We got friends in New York that could actually take you up on that. Just say it. But we need more ass on the O line, and we need Parham at center.
And we need James, whether he's healthy or not, to just sit down. He's been doing a piss poor job calling signals, calling blocking schemes as the center all year long. These are the shake-up changes. I mean, the intent that actually I have to credit Pierce with, because Brasillo sure wasn't getting it done. These are the things that should have changed in September. Knowing that Parham was 285, what was this, desire to have James continue to play center and putting Parham at guard? That was just,
Nice.
I thought that was just a baby violin you were playing.
No, no. It's because they didn't want somebody to say, we're paying this guy X plus over Parham, and he's not our center. And
No.
and it's a matter of you got to show. And again, it's wrong. It's wrong. I don't care if this guy is making $5,000 a year and the other guy is making $185,000 a year. I know that's really whacked out, but it's the point of, if the guy making $5,000 a year is playing better and has more ability than the guy who's making 25 to 30 times his salary, again, that's a little off base too, then you play that mother that is making the smaller amount because he has more ability and he's doing it.
But
And
you not only that, you play your players in the right position.
Yes.
If he's the smallest, and I go back to the hogs, the smallest hog was Bostic.
Jeff Bostic. Yep, Jeff Bostic was the smallest one. Yeah.
I mean, on most lines, your smallest guy is your center.
Mm-hmm.
Not your guard, for crying out loud. Most of your running plays come behind your guards.
Yeah.
Why in the world am I going to put my smallest guy at a position that has to plow 330-pound D lineman out of the way? Why would I even put him in that position? And this is why we have struggled all year long. People are out of position, and the center simply hasn't been good at picking up blocking schemes. He just hadn't been good at picking up blitzes and helping his fellow line mates. And he hasn't been good all year long. James should not return to the center position at all. He should be sat down. He's getting blown up anyway. So, I mean, he's been getting blown up right there in the middle. During that Viking game, did you see how many times James was just, his footwork was just atrocious. He was actually trying to plant his feet, and his feet and body were getting pushed backwards. That DT had his way with him. Whoever was playing DT for the Vikings had his way with him.
Oh yeah. And he took his lunch money and he took his girlfriend and he took his mama.
I did ready to say it, his mama too.
Yeah. He took his lunch money, his girlfriend, and his mama, and his side piece.
That's right. And then on top of that, made him mail a check to him for more. That's how much James was, and that's why he got hurt, of course.
Yeah.
Usually guys get hurt doing things that are beyond their capacity.
Right.
It was, and I'm glad James should not return to that center spot. Parham needs to be there. He just needs to be there.
Is that going to happen though? That is the ultimate question.
Well, the question now is, does Pierce want to be the Raider coach next year? These are the issues that the head coach decides, not the front office.
Yeah.
And certainly not a O-line coach that's been clueless for 15 games. I'm not listening to him at all.
Oh, no, wait a second. Whoa. He's been clueless for 16 and 50. He's been clueless for over 35 games.
I know, but at least last year they could run block.
I think that was just on accident. It just that Jacobs last year playing for money actually just had that little more oomph, because if you look at what the what it was like, the yak or yards after contact, he had a lot of yak, because his first contact, not the Star Trek movie, but his first contact was still behind the line or maybe on the line or 2 yards 2 yards in front, but he had a lot after that, yards after contact.
Captain, can you explain to me why yards after contact is such a great stat?
Because it shows how the offensive line, if you're running back, it shows how an offensive line is doing their jobs and not how much push they are getting in front of them, how they are bowling out people, so that, for example, if you got a guy who is getting his yard average is X, but his yak is large, it's because he is making most of that on his own, because the offensive linemen, they're kind of like playing like sumos, and they're not really moving. They're not really moving, and so they're basically remaining stationary. And the running back is getting just enough of a twitch and a sideways thing where they can go beyond. Okay, so Jacobs got a lot of yak last year, in spite of, or even in relation to, what their offensive line were doing. Because
right, where was the yak this year?
I haven't been paying attention.
Did he suddenly forget? Because we still got the same line blocking in front of him.
Right, exactly. And I was just going to say that, and it's the same line. Where's
your yak this year?
They're probably in Afghanistan on the mountain.
Special mission to Dubai. They haven't returned yet. Listen, only thing yak gets me is an injured and wore out running back. In my mind, the running back I need is one that you don't even make contact with until he's 5 yards down the field. Okay? Not one that I get contact with at the line of scrimmage, and then, oh, by the way, my tackling techniques are so sloppy that I do not bring him, and he's got those feet going. And no. That only gets me a worn out and hurt running back. And as it turns out, if anybody was listening to them talking about the stats about running backs who have breakout seasons, the season afterwards, they totally regress. Why? Because the physical strain. Those yards after contact, to me, aren't helpful in keeping my running back running for 3 or 4 straight years healthy. Okay? He works hard 1 year, and then he never works again. And oh, by the way, for all the Josh Jacobs lovers, I hope that you're sending him a telegram now, letting him know that not only did we have 125 yards rushing, you finally gave those other 3 running backs a chance to actually have carries, which they can't have if you're around because you're always hogging the ball. But the other part is, and we scored 63 points, and you weren't anywhere on the field. Okay? I am not by any means saying that Jacobs isn't a good running back. I'm saying this year he hasn't put in the effort. And you can talk about the blocking of the O-line all you want. The fact is that the great players, the Pro Bowlers, they never use that as an excuse. You think that when people played the Chicago Bears with Jim McMahon, as their quarterback, like they were scared of him, that they didn't stack 7 men on the line of scrimmage for Walter Payton? Did you really believe that when they played the Houston Oilers, that they didn't stack 7 men on the line of scrimmage for Earl Campbell?
No, they stacked about 9 and 10 on the line for Earl, and it still didn't get them done.
Still didn't get it done. Do you think that played a Washington Redskin team with Joe Theismann as the quarterback? Ooh, I'm scared. And John Riggins didn't stack 7 men on the line of scrimmage every time.
Yeah.
Listen, the great ones, they get theirs. They don't use an excuse, oh, they have 6, 7 men on the line of scrimmage. My O-line can't block. They make their holes. If they see they can't go up the middle, they bounce it outside. Instantly, they make a decision and they go. And if they see a crease, they make it a hole. You see,
Yeah.
I want to run him back like that. And I really think you've got it in Zamir White. As they say, he's a downhill runner. You could see the totally different styles of running with Abdullah and Bolden. What did he remind you of? Everybody out there, what did he remind you of? Clarence Davis, Mark Van Egan,
and Mar Hubbard. Yeah.
It reminded me so much of those days where we did running back by committee in the 60s and 70s.
And also, if you want to even do like something that's a little bit more recent, we had Crockett, we had Ritchie, and then we had Kaufman.
Right.
Same thing. We had the whole spear of who you wanted in that particular moment. And we had the bruiser, the guy who could move, and the guy who was kind of like an in-betweener that could do a little bit of both, okay? And when you had Crockett, when you had Ritchie, when you had Kaufman, and when you had Wheatley, there's another one that you just couldn't stop because you didn't know what it was going to be because and they all had the same good amount of ability. They all could block, they all could run, they all could catch.
And these are the things that I knew I was never going to see under McDaniels. But after McDaniels left, there still wasn't a shakeup at that running back position. I got a running back that gave me 7 games of under 50 yards rushing, only 200-yard games in 14 games. I got to shake things up. I got to do things different. With the 3 backs we have now, we have 3 totally different running styles. Tell me what defense is going to be put on their heels. And I love the way Madden and them did it with Hubbard and Van Egan. And depending on the opponent and the defensive style of the opponent, I mean, the Vikings in the Super Bowl got Clarence Davis all day long.
Yeah.
Why did they decide that? Why weren't they getting Hubbard or Van Egan all day long? You see, those are the things I need brilliance from our offensive coaches. I need you to say, this isn't working. I'm sorry, Josh, but you'll have to split the carries with X.
Well, actually, Peggy, I think, and again, far be it for me to say this, but I think we have seen the last of Josh Jacobs.
I hope so.
Wearing a Raider uniform, be it 28 or 8, because of the different things that need to be done. And the fact is, he made it his 12. What was it? 12 to 13, I think, was what his contract was this year on the upgrade. But we need to spread it around for the capabilities of RBC, and I think that we'll be fine with Zamir White. We had the kid who was on the IR and he was
Brittany Brown.
Well, no,
Brown.
Not just Britton Brown, but the other kid that was out of Texas was like UTEP, and I can't remember his name, who was lightning fast, and he was IR'd, and he has capabilities as well. He was the speedster, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name. But yeah, we got Britton Brown, we got Zamir White, we got Abdullah, who is like the guy that, with all of the guy with all the stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to, I can't have a discussion with people who are blaming the O-line for Josh not being able to run. After 15 games, that becomes an unacceptable excuse. It's unacceptable. because I know good running backs find a way to get theirs.
Mm-hmm.
They all some there are going to be games where they're going to be ineffective. Granted, their running style the defense is ready for. But what the Raiders offensive coaching didn't do is they didn't shake it up. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't give them another running style to deal with. When you saw that Jacobs was ineffective, why do you keep sending your troops up that hill? Go to another hill, get a different set of troops. You have to get up. I mean, you have to run the football.
Mm-hmm.
You have to run the football. And if for some reason Jacobs is ineffective, you've got three backs sitting on the bench that they aren't ready for. They haven't done any film work on them. They don't have any film on them. They don't know what you need to run the football any way you have to. And if that means the sacred cow does not get his carries, then he doesn't get his carries. Not for that game. We'll certainly bring you out next week. But see, all of this is to please a player instead of running the football and helping your quarterback and helping your team score. Are we going to really put his feelings ahead of the team? I mean, I ask everybody that question. Should the team be more concerned about a player getting his carries than running the football, scoring points, and winning games? What's more important? I mean, I think that we are. And you say we might have seen the last, but I'm scared because I still think they're going to still try to give Josh the ball. If he comes back healthy, because Josh is chomping at the bit right now. He never wants anybody to take his carries. Where he acted with Kenyon Drake. Never forget, they had to take him out of the game. I never forget, Versace had to take him out of the game because he was having fits. Because Kenyon Drake, remember in 21?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
They took me out of the game. That kind of attitude, you're not more important than the team, man. Nobody's more important than the team, man. And if you can't run the football, I'll find somebody who will. And that should have been the attitude for 15 games. You're not getting it done. We got 3 other backs on the bench.
I want you to address this because Craig thinks, and again, Craig, thank you for being here because it means that you're watching. We appreciate you. Craig says Zamir White is garbage and Josh is the leader.
If he's leading, what's he been leading? I'd like to know what's he been leading. And the same with Adams while we're at it. What have they been leading? Tell me, what have they done? How have they stepped up in their superstar status with their superior skill sets to help this team score points? What have they done? And by the way, you don't even pay attention to people who want to trash Zamir, the Jacobs sacred cow lovers, because we don't know enough about Zamir yet.
Yeah.
We don't know enough. The guy had all 17 carries in 2022. 17 carries. And this year, maybe he's up. He had 16 carries on Thursday night. He surpassed in one game what he had all of last season. We just don't know enough about Zamir.
Yeah.
Anybody who says that he's trash, don't pay no mind. I can't pay that any mind. You need stats to back that up.
Right, and I'm just saying, Craig, I will give Zamir White props because I'm an SEC guy, and I know that Jacobs is also an SEC guy, but I saw Zamir White tear it up at UGA when given the opportunity, okay? And the fact is, with Zamir White on this team with Jacobs in front of him,
he was never going to get a chance to play. Jacobs was never going to let that happen.
Yep, exactly.
The way
So
he
you can't,
acted, I'm
his
going to go back to the way he
scorecard is
acted,
incomplete.
Kenyon Drake. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was never, as long as Josh Jacob was happy, Bolden, Abdullah, White would never touch the football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying the Raiders have got to stop that. We did that at the expense of not having a running game for most of the season. And we really have to stop doing that as a franchise. We're talking about champions again. The Raiders solved their running problem by simply doing it by committee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this game calls for this style of running back. This game calls for this style of running back. And sometimes I might give them both.
Yeah. It depends on what the forte of the defense is on the other side. If they are guys that can gang up and are stout, then the guys that are going to be going up the middle are going to be get like 0 yards per carry. But the guys that can run and juke and go to the outside, they'll have a field day. And that's why, like you were talking about RBC, when you had the different players back in the day, okay? And
by the way, back in the day when we were winning championships, there were smart guys running our offense. They were not going to just stick with running back when he wasn't getting it done. That wasn't going to happen. They were going to put somebody else in to run the football. And there wasn't any debate about it. There wasn't talk about it. The players are supposed to accept that the object of the game is to run the football, give your quarterback play action capability, right? Because that's what running does.
Yep.
When he has play action capability, then he can throw deep. But none of that can happen if you're one-dimensional and they know you must throw the football because you can't run it, because you won't change runners. You're wedded to one runner, and there are no other options. They're waiting for that one runner in those lanes. Did you see that? You see how they've been doing it game after game?
Yeah.
They're not just stacking the line. They're waiting for Josh Jacobs and his style of running.
Yep.
They know he's not going to bounce it outside. They know that he's not quick to the crease, to the crack. They know that about him. So they just clog up the running lanes, knowing that he's just going to put his head down and try to bull his way, right? Trying to get that, what you call that, yards after contact. They know he's going to try to bull his way. No. When you saw that wasn't working, why is it that we can't move the ball in the second half? Because by that time, we're one-dimensional. We cannot run the football, and we have abandoned the run instead of using different runners.
Mm-hmm. Different styles. And I agree. We need to open it up to see what – if one thing isn't working, that doesn't mean that something else can't.
Correct. And it doesn't mean that you no longer can do that. And let's go to the same thing with Adams. Has anybody noticed how his routes, by the Minnesota game, his routes had shortened to 7 to 10 yards? Ostensibly because the quarterback didn't have time to throw it any deeper. Okay? But you see, here we go again. Just like I talked with Jacobs about Jacobs. I'm paying you a lot of money, Devontae. Did Tim Brown complain when he had 11 different quarterbacks, of which 10 were straight bums? Did you hear him complain? Because Gannon was the only real quarterback he had, right? Seriously. Let's go through the file.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. Well, you had Gannon.
Think about it.
Myra.
98, right? He drafted in 98, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many. It'll make my head swim.
Tim Brown had 11 different quarterbacks. Did you hear him complaining?
Not not as vociferously as he did.
I'm not getting the ball. I can't catch the ball. My yardage is going down. Do you know that Adams has had 7 games, just like Devontae, Jacobs, of 50 yards less of yardage. He had 2 one-catch games.
Uh-huh.
You see, my leaders, they can't do that.
And again, but and also for those that are saying Devontae this, Devontae that, it remains to be seen because again, I didn't get a chance to chime in earlier when you were talking about the MVP of the offense.
Yes, we're still back to that.
Number 16.
Jacoby Meyer.
Number 16.
God does it all. He does everything. He's not afraid to block, something I have rarely seen Adams do until Thursday. Seriously. And did you see in the Minnesota game, see, you were in the stands, Captain, but those of you that were watching at home, did you see how even the commentators noticed how Adams would give up on routes? And if it wasn't going to him, he was unconcerned about helping out with blocking or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
They showed him casually walking across the field after the ball had been completed to Meyer. He wasn't running, he was walking. You see, that's not a leader. That's something else. I don't know what it is, and I'm not questioning Devontae's professionalism in the slightest, nor Jacobs. I'm saying I need more from my leaders. Yes, you're going to have to walk on water. Turn wine into water, or turn water into wine, right? Raise the dead. Yes, I demand that from you because all the great ones did it. Great players make big plays in big games. They do not disappear in the second half. They just don't disappear. At some point in the game, they step up and do something where everything has been shut down and suddenly they make the play. The play that busted wide open. Say what you want about Renfro. Okay? Mr. Fumble Machine, who, oh, by the way, got targeted 2 times with 0 catches. Okay? He was the only one that stepped up in the second half of that Minnesota game. The others couldn't be found. Okay? And I'm not saying why and all that, but at least Renfro was trying. The problem with Renfro is he tries too hard.
Yeah. I'll get with that. Yeah, because again, take a couple, and let's go back because a lot of people would say, yeah, Mike, and we know we're talking about the last game, but let's go back to that Minnesota game. Let's go back to 2 plays. Had Renfro not fumbled, that's a chip shot field goal, so that's 3 points. But let's go back even earlier. And I can't remember which defensive back it was. I think it was the same guy who did the pick 6, Jones,
the one that took Peter's place. Go ahead.
Right. He dropped what would have been another pick 6.
I saw it
against the Vikings because it was in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
It was in front. Had he not dropped that ball, that would have been 6+1. So I kept saying the entire Minnesota game. All we need is 1 play.
Right.
1 play. And those were the 1 plays I was talking about. And again, I get it. Yeah, I love the fact that Renfro is out there, and he's doing all those things. But that 1 play fucked us. Excuse my French. And had Jones gotten that pick, that was the one play that we would have won 7, maybe 10-3 had it come down to that. That would have been a win. So one play is all I was talking about. And unfortunately, we didn't have it against Minnesota. That game was like going to the dentist and having the attendant scrape your teeth, scrape your teeth, and then, for good measure, pull them without Novocaine. That's how painful that game was for me in the stands. One play, and I kept saying one play, and those were 2 of the one plays that we should have had. So it's unfortunate.
And again, these are team efforts. But I noticed that great players make huge plays, and we have all season long needed guys like Jacobs and Devontae to step up and give us a play, just one play to break it open. And they just could not deliver. And perhaps we deserve to be where we are. What is our record now? 7 and
well, we're 6 and 8. We're 6 and 8.
Right. Perhaps we should be 8 and 6. Okay?
No, probably even better than that.
Right. But for anybody stepping up and making a play in countless games, the end of that Miami game, right? I mean, we're really we're really talking about things like people making plays. And while we're at it, let's talk about the 3 blind mice. Okay, the brand new that are 6 games old, who people want to heap all this criticism on, excluding the guys that have careers of 4, 5, and 6 years. Okay, we're talking about Pierce, 6 games old. Hardigree, who by the way went up to the booth, right? They put him in the booth on Thursday night. Lo and behold, it was a miracle, right? Lazarus coming from the dead. We're talking about Bo Hardigree. All of 6 games. And of course, we're talking about our young quarterback, Aiden, who, by the way, is a competent little Boilermaker. He got a skill set. He's not going to wow anybody with his fantastic Madden video game skills of breaking off 60-yard runs. You won't see that from Aiden. You also won't see terrific, on the run scrambling 60-yard bombs for a touchdown either.
Whoa. He actually threw that big bomb.
Yes, he did.
Actually, he's hit Turner a couple times this year, and even in the preseason, bomb. Because you were talking about how, and I wanted to get this in
but they want it while he's scrambling. Wait a minute. They don't want him to sit in the pocket because the pocket quarterback is dead.
Wait a second, Peggy. You're talking about, I said, why Adams is breaking this route shorter because the 9 routes are going to Turner.
And they should.
Or that's doing the 9 routes because again, yes, he should. And Aiden and Turner have a good rapport with each other. Dating
now back. They do, but there's been a lot of misfires all year long.
But they had a good rapport dating back to the preseason because Turner was like a number 3 receiver and O'Connell was the number 2 quarterback, and they had that more rapport working with each other in camp. That's why they do have a good rapport, is because they're more familiar with each other, like a number 1 quarterback with a number 1 receiver.
All right. Now I need to go back to everybody. Did we get votes on the offensive MVP? I heard one person say Jacobs.
Yeah.
That's
One said I think Anna said Jacoby Myers, like I said Jacoby Myers.
Do we have any other candidates for offensive MVP?
I'll put it up again. Offense and defense. I'll put it up again too. Place your votes. Ed says O'Connell. I say Jacoby Myers because Jacoby Myers has been doing it with everybody, no matter who the quarterback is.
Yeah, I already know. You know, defense. Everybody's gonna say Max. I mean, that's just no surprise. He's probably Max Crosby is probably the team MVP because he steps up and makes plays.
But like I said, don't count out my boy Spillane.
I love Spillane, and I think that he is the revitalization of something that was a distinct animal on the endangered species list, a Raider linebacker. We haven't had sighting of a linebacker since, well, I can't even think. I'm trying to go. Now I'm going back to the 20th century.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I love the fact he wears Villapiano's number. I just so apropos.
Oh my God, those guys were living. Well, Ted Hendricks was a linebacker, for God's sakes. I mean, if you want to talk about it, but again, we're talking offensive MVP. Someone said Mumford as offensive. Asylum.
Okay.
Said Jacoby first. Okay, there we go. Anna. Thank you, Anna. I mean, I vote for Meyer at this point.
Yeah,
okay?
I think Jacoby.
I would have loved to vote for our little rookie tight end, but he just needs a little more time. He's way behind because McDaniels did absolutely nothing with the tight end position, despite having legendary tight ends. He absolutely acted like he did not know what a tight end was. We're finally discovering that the tight end is a weapon.
Imagine if McFired, because again I won't denigrate him anymore. Imagine if McFired had used the tight end like the Lions have used their rookie tight end, who's leading the league in everything. Okay, the kid from Iowa, and I can't remember his name, but he is what that kid is doing in Detroit is what Mayer should and could be have done from jump.
Oh yeah, you're talking about Laporta, right?
Yeah, Laporta. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the way that the Vikings before our cousin and your cousin got hurt, T.J. Hawkinson was coming on, right? He's not in Minnesota anymore. Excuse me. The way the Lions are also, where is Hawkinson now? He's in Minnesota, right? Yeah, he's in Minnesota.
Yeah.
He used to be in Detroit, right?
Yeah, he got
they
the
drafted him.
Right, he got the big contract, and that's why Laporta went to Detroit.
But Laporta. But I believe that we had a coach and an offensive coordinator that knew what to do with tight ends, I believe Meyer would be at the same developmental point as Laporta.
Yes.
I think he has that potential, and he has the size, and he can block. Okay, that's the other part of that. Their blocking skills are so crucial. But I've got to run soon. Before we talk about, have we decided now? Have we voted on Jacoby Meyer?
I did.
The offensive MVP. We have votes for Josh. Do we have any Devontae votes?
No, I didn't see it.
Offensive, yeah.
No.
Yeah. See, I'm not the only one that's been seeing people mailing it in. But I don't think that they're maliciously doing it. I feel like I mean, McDaniels is one of those parents that just strips you of all. Yeah, you just he just rips the guts out of his players. I mean, he literally does that, and that's unfortunate. I think what happened to Josh was he felt so badly by the way he was treated by Ziegler and McDaniels in the
You know,
negotiations.
I think that, and I was watching this movie last night because I'm a movie guy,
Uh
and
huh.
and I portend to see it was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and to me, Josh McDaniels or Josh McFired reminds me of Nurse Ratchet. Yeah, you see where I'm going with this? It's like
Yeah,
somebody
but
like,
she was a clever one though, and just like
well, okay,
McDaniel, very clever in their evil.
there you go. And it's like, but she would do things just to mess with people and,
Exactly,
and,
it
and
was
keep them down and
calculated.
keep them down and keep them down. That is like what McFired has been doing all these years, keeping them down, keeping them down, keeping them down. And
Stripping
so,
them of their desire to play the game. Even
yes, yes,
that's
Nurse
what he did
Ratchet.
to Carr last year, by the way. And I
Yes,
saw him do it
yes,
slowly but surely. Carr began to doubt himself,
yeah.
and that is exact. And it was like the evil Dr. Frankenstein, laughing. Now I have him where I want him. His soul is bare to me now. I can
That's right.
make him over in my own image. And that was the kind of coaching I think that just stripped the spirit out of this offense. I really believe that that's what happened to them. But we have to remember, in my last moment, we have to remember this is a Raider team. It hasn't quite decided what their identity is. They're still finding it. And you can tell from 0 points on Sunday against the Vikings to 63 points on Thursday against, and let me make sure, a Charger team that knew their coach
Illusion.
wasn't
Yeah,
gonna. Yeah, they knew that Billy Bob wasn't going to survive Black Monday.
oh yeah, yeah. And I said I'm going to get two things from you before you go, Peggy. I talked to the Charger fan that was behind me at the half, and I normally don't rub it in, and when this was really rubbing in, I said, why don't they just fire him at half to take all of because he's gone. Just fire him at the half. And the guy said, "Nah, we're going to stay with him all year." Well, he was wrong about that because he was gone the next day. Okay. The second thing I'm going to ask you, Peggy, is before you go, your
Mhm.
thoughts on that Christmas Day game against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Like I told you at the top of the show, I haven't been more hopeful that we can beat these guys. Not only because the Kansas City Chiefs have managed to defang themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's been fun watching them become mediocre. And this is something that they did to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anybody said. The departure of Hill had to take a toll. The
And the
other
enemy.
thing, right? But Bieniemy was the blow this year.
Yes.
But the first blow, I believe, was the departure of Hill. Hill does so many things so well,
Mm-hmm.
and it drives the secondary crazy because they can't cover him. Nobody can cover him. Okay, it's doubles, triple team, doesn't matter. But that was the first blow. They kind of said, but they didn't bend over. Bieniemy. We now know that Matt Nagy is no Bieniemy. Not even close. But the other thing that happened to Matt and Mahomes in that offense, you know it, when you have to pay Kelsey, Mahomes, and Chris Jones $150 million, how much money you got left for a top wide receiver? None. All them guys, Palmer, Tony, all. First of all, some of them I ain't never heard of. First time they appeared,
Yeah.
I call them the $2 million a piece crew.
Well, actually, there's one guy that is very well known because he starred in the movie Unnecessary Roughness, and that was Stonehands, MVS, Marquise Valdez Scantling. Don't throw it to Stonehands!
The first time that I feel that we can beat the team. The other thing is the off the field stuff going on with Kelsey and Mahomes is outrageous. And the Kansas City management needs to put an end to it. But like you reminded me, Captain, when the Chargers fired Staley, actually, Captain was sad that they fired Staley because he wanted him to stay as coach.
I want him there. I want him there because here's the reason why they had taken a perfectly above average team that should be in contention for the AFC West title year after year with the players that they have on that team. Them and the Chiefs should be going like this each year in contention and fighting it out for the AFC West title.
Captain was upset when he found out they got rid of Staley. He's like, "Oh shucks, hi Vicky." Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. But here we go. We want the off the field distractions to continue with. Let them keep shoving Taylor Swift in our faces so that Kelsey can be completely distracted. Did you notice how he has disappeared from that offense? He
hasn't disappeared, but he's taken a step back, and they're actually throwing it to
he's not dominating the way he was before, scoring 2, 3, 4 touchdowns like he did against us.
Right. Or 4 touchdowns on 20 yards.
Yeah, right. Like Kittle. Man, Kittle's having a hell of a year, man. Yeah. Kittle's always been my favorite over Kelsey. But anyway, I say, Captain, I have to go with you. I've seen the light. We're glad to see this, I will never buy a State Farm policy ever in my life, but we're glad to see the off the field distractions continue for Mahomes. We're also finally glad that the NFL is seeing what a baby Mahomes really is. What a punk. Yeah. Self-satisfied, smirking little punk he really is.
Yeah.
And we're also glad the rest of the NFL finally knows that the refs been handing Kansas City games. Once they start calling those holds, once they start calling those illegal formations that we've been seeing for years uncalled, I don't know, Patrick might have a serious meltdown. Sure.
Oh, you mean he's not going to get
a doctor on the sidelines?
Aw, he's not going to get his participation. He's not going to rope in his shit. We're most valuable bundler. Oh, it's such a surprise of being MVP, the most valuable bundler.
Oh, I am glad. Exactly. I'm glad that their self-serving, smirking reign may be over. They are just ordinary, and especially with them bum wide receivers. Captain, it's been lovely. I got to run. You know I'm getting ready for the holidays. I told you I got my Christmas cookies that I got to bake all day tomorrow.
Woo! Send some. Hey, send some.
I am in the pipe.
Send some here.
All right, guys.
If you got one extra or two, man, make it 2. Send a 2 extra. You got my address, and just
I know. I'm making some macaroons and some
Oh,
snickerdoodles and
oh,
some double chocolate chip cookies. I am rocking and rolling tomorrow.
well,
Everybody have a lovely, lovely holiday and cheers to everyone. Have that Christmas grog
there you
and
go.
kick back on Christmas Day. And I hope
And
we're
a
able
W.
to take that smirk
And a
off of,
W, hopefully.
off of Kermit's face.
That's it.
You
Kermit,
know,
Kermit darling, what the W on Christmas Day for the Raiders?
of course, you can tell we despise the Kansas City Chiefs. So I've learned to despise them over these years for a lot of things. Anyway, we'll be talking soon, Captain. It was great. Got to run. Goodbye to everybody. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Peggy. You
Bye.
take care, honey. Thanks again. Thanks for
Bye.
being here. 2 weeks, too. We'll see her in 2 weeks.
You'll see me then.
2
Bye-bye.
weeks. All right. Take care. Bye, Peggy. Happy Merry Christmas. I love when Peggy's here. This is the show. Now you got to deal with me. Now you got to put up with the old man. I'm sorry. I'm not as effervescent. I'm not as effervescent. That's okay. That's okay. If you want something, and there were people that were popping in, put me on. I want to talk about it. Okay. Now you can. Up, see, and here you go. Don't forget, you can catch Peggy on the Cage Match show tomorrow. After I do my show with the Wild Wild West, that's on tomorrow, Wild Wild West, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Be sure to pop over to the Cage Match show, which is with Asylum and Oakland Raider Savage. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't do it justice, but I tried. You got Savage, you got Asylum, you got the Cage Match tomorrow on their channel, the Cage Match. Tomorrow. That's after Wild Wild West show. So make sure you get that. But for those who want to pop in, if you got something you want to say, yo, Dre, I got something to say. I ain't saying what he said after that. But it was anyway, hit the link. Thank you. Did I get the link up? Yeah, yes, I did. Hit the link. We got 40 minutes. We can talk. We can talk for 40 minutes. I want to say thank you for Anna's in here, Viggie's in here, of course Asylum's in here, Cool Kev is in here, Mike Sarah, FTC, got you, brother. Good to see you. Ed, thank you, brother. Ed. And then I said, Ed, gosh, 2024, need 2024 to be better than 2023 and 2022. I need some positivity. Cool Kev, thanks for being in here. Who else was? Oh, Willie Wayne and Craig Gilmore. Do we keep Harris? I think we do. Sam, I'll get to you in a minute. Facebook user. I don't know who this is, but thank you. Come on over to YouTube. That might have been Vicky. But a Facebook user, come on over to YouTube. Who else was there? I talked to, as said Anna. Okay. Anna was, she was like, yeah, okay. Sarah. Who else? We'll make sure I had Craig listed. Thank you. It's not a Craigslist, but it was Craig listed. Wild Turkey was in here. Good to see. Yes. Good to see a Wild Turkey. Who else was here? Going back to the show. To the beginning. Doc Cabral, good to see you. Good night to you. I'm sorry I missed you. And Matt Marinovich, as always, MVP commentator. Tom Coughlin is helping Bo? Really? What's your source on that, Matt? I haven't seen that. But wow, I thought Coughlin was wasn't he? Hey, Tom Coughlin, hey, if he's getting help, good on him. Good on him. Okay, Raider Ron. Thank you for being here, Raider Ron. Thank you, sir. Saying Peggy's preaching the facts. Good to see that as well. I'm going through this. You see Billy Harris. I said Billy Harris. Craig, I saw. Am I missing? Am I missing? Did I miss anybody? I'm hoping I didn't. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling. There's been a lot of comments. Thank you. Remember, if you like what you see, like, share, please, please. Talked about turkey being in here. Not just turkey, but the wild turkey. I'm keep roll. Warriors for Lord Wells. Okay. What's up with you? Thank you there, sir. I had not seen you in here before. Thank you, sir. I hope that you're still here. If you're still here, hit the comment section again. I know Anna Diaz was here because we allowed her. She said, "Of course, come on in." I'm hoping I'm done. Steve, Houston Raiders. Steve was here. Good to see you there, Steve. And speaking of Steve's, also Hollywood was here. JB was here. Okay, Asylum will come back in a minute. Like I said, Hollywood was here. See? I think I should have JB and then Hollywood. Yeah, they did play loose, and Saf was in here. Thanks, Saf. I'm going through. I'm almost done. I want to make sure I get everybody. I don't want to miss somebody. Oh, Valerie. Good to see you, Valerie. Yeah, she was there at the game. So we had quite a few. I want to make sure. Am I missing anybody? I hope not. There we go. Okay. That is Mouseketeer roll call. I got everybody that I saw. If you are here, we're here, and are watching when this is a replay, thank you for being here. Like it, share it. We're here. I'm going to be here tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific for the Wild Wild West show. And then remember, once you're done watching me, pop on over and see the cage match with Asylum and Oakland Raiders Savage. And Peggy will be on that show too. If you don't get enough of Peggy, you can see her on the cage match. Did I say Billy Ayers? I hope I saw Bill. And Mike Sarah. Okay, Clayton. Hey, Clayton just popped in. Clayton to see my buddy Bronco fan. Yes, there are Bronco fans that are cool. I know. It's not sacrilege, but hopefully. And Clayton is such a fan, and he is a true fan, that he will come in even. Did Vicky, do I need to send you my email address? Vicky, I'll hit you up, Vicky. Raiders signed a young defensive tackle. Okay, John Leon's back in here. Okay, if you want to, like I said, hit the link. I'm going to bring in the dude who looks older than me, even though I think he's younger. I'll we'll find that out. I think he's younger. Asylum.
I'm younger than you, Cap. I'm younger than you.
I
look old, that's because I had kids and shit, all that, I look old, but, and my knowledge when it comes to Raiders football is like I'm older, but in the end, I'm still a young pup compared to you.
Okay. I was going to say, I thought I had some decent knowledge.
You got even more knowledge than I do. You saw a lot of this shit live. I've had to, do my research or catch all those, specials that are on ESPN or whatever, but that's the thing is, as there's a segment on my show called Know Your History, or actually it's Know Your Fucking History. You got to know your
dropping the F-bomb immediately. Good on you, man, because we are on all of this. We're not on Roku, by the way, so because we're good. But hey, come on, that's it.
You can bleep that out. I'm sorry. Me. I can't.
No, we're good. Fuck it. We're good.
I'm like a sailor, I can't help it. It's just part of my language. If there ain't no F-bombs or swearing, then people think I'm sick.
That's right. It's like he didn't swear. Fuck, what's going on with him? There you go. Matt's
exactly.
I tell you what, and Matt 07, I think that Caleb Williams is not going to be the best quarterback in this draft.
Nope. No. I don't even want Caleb Williams. I'm tired of hearing Caleb Williams' name. We ain't going to get him. I don't fucking want him. He's overrated. Move on next. I don't even think we need to draft a quarterback in this draft. And if we do, it definitely don't need to be in the fucking first round. I've been adamant about this. I've said it from the get-go. But, yet again, that's my opinion. And we don't know who the coach is going to be and what they want to decide to do. So it's out of our hands. My wants don't fucking matter when it comes to this.
That's right. And until Mark calls me up and says, Cap, what do you want to do? My opinion don't mean shit. My opinion don't mean shit. Now,
you can send him my email so I can give my opinion on it too.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get right on that. Okay. Now you were bitching.
Yeah,
I want to talk about that. So you're here. Talk about what you wanted to talk about. I think it was the O-line, correct?
It was the O-line and Jacobs situation, yes. When Peggy was talking and she said what I had been saying for a while, we can't be blaming the O-line for Jacobs running. I've been calling him out for a little while now, at least for the last 5 weeks. I've been talking about benching his ass because he's running for a paycheck. There's only been one change on that O-line before injuries, before this last game and the injuries where we put Meredith in and we had Parham as the center. There was only one change on the O-line and one other change on the offense, and that was QB and Van Roten. You can't tell me Jacobs is not running for a paycheck, trying to stay healthy for his next team when he has the same offensive line and blame the offensive line for his running. I give him credit when they changed coaches and AP took over. He showed a flash of what he could do when he got those 2 100-yard games. But in the end, Jacobs is phoning it in. He's playing for his next team. He's just trying to stay healthy enough and not hurt his career. And I've been saying it. And then when we turn around and, yes, we made a couple changes due to injury, but running back by committee, and we put up 134 yards between the three running backs. Go back, look, Zamir White had 17 touches for 60-something plus yards.
Yeah, and by the way,
let's go back to
one of those games that Jacobs ran over 100 was against Kansas City, and 60-something of that came on one run. And by the way, because they're saying, well, he ran for a touchdown against Kansas City. Kansas City had a run blitz called, and he broke through the run blitz, and that's why he was so wide open. Because the rest of the time when they did the run blitzes on him, they were successful. They screwed up one. They screwed up one run blitz, and Jacobs was gone.
He made the right cut at the right time, and there was nobody else there to get involved. Plain and simple, right. In all this, and I mean, like I said, Zamir White. We're talking about 17 touches. Let's go back into the rest of the season, like Peggy was talking about, and let's see how many times he had 17 touches and 30 fucking yards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because, and the problem is, and Peggy alluded to it, we got to feed his ego. He's on the field, so he's not effective, but we got to keep trying. It's Jacobs. No, I'm done with Jacobs. I called Marcus Peters out. I called Marcus Peters out in week fucking 5, and it took him long enough. Let's not wait so long. Bench him. Everyone's saying Zamir White, why has he had this? It's because Jacobs is on the field. He hasn't had his opportunity to prove himself. And when he did, he got more yards with 17 touches than Jacobs did, except for 2 games. And so he missed his game. This was week 15. So in 14 games, take the 2 away. In 12 games, Zamir White in 1 game did more than Jacobs did in the same amount of touches.
Hey, Mike.
And by running back by committee.
Mike. Go, I'm sorry, Solomon. I got to cut him on this.
That's okay.
I'm not blaming him for a 65-yard run. I'm not blaming him for that. That was fantastic. That was what you're supposed to do when you break a run blitz. And he did what he was supposed to do. He broke one guy, and there was nobody behind him. I'm not blaming him, Mike. Come on, Mike. Don't do that to me, man. But he had over 100 yards against Kansas City, and 65 was on one fucking play. And then the rest of the carries, 2, 1, 3, -1, -2. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
How many times?
Because
he had 1 game. It was a -2. One whole game, he had -2 yards. One whole game.
That was against Buffalo, I think.
Yes, I believe you're right on that one. But still, you were the rushing leader the year before. Everyone's talking about the year before. I'm sorry, we're at the point, fuck the year before. Because he hasn't done shit. He held out trying to get more money. He hurt himself. He hurt his stock. And as far as I'm concerned, let his ass walk. Running backs, unfortunately, you could say are a dime a dozen in the league. You know, I mean, most I believe it. We talked about this before. There were 6 or 7 running backs who have gone back-to-back years as with the rushing title. Most of the time, they get the rushing title, and the next year, they stink to all high heaven.
Yeah.
And Jacobs is doing it. He's only concerned about his, next season, which I give him that. It's a business. It's about money. But when you show me you're running for a paycheck, your ass deserves to ride the pine. I don't care how much we're fucking paying him.
Yeah. And here's the thing, guys. You said that, and I want to see Cool Kev, none of those guys behind Jets can run for 100 yards. It doesn't fucking matter that they get, as a group, they will go over 100 yards, and that's what you need.
Okay.
It's the total effort.
Okay, we'll go like this. With Jacobs in the game, and we've used the other running backs sparingly, how many times have we gone over 100 yards using Jacobs and other running backs? We haven't.
Okay, and by the way,
this game,
Craig, how many carries has Zeus White had? Of course, Jacobs is averaging 3.6. Look how many carries he has. Come on, man.
Oh, Jacobs, what was it? Going into the Vikings game, had the most carries of all running backs in the league.
In the league.
And when it came to yards and everything else, he was 40th. Number 1 in touches, but 40th as a running back. He was first in touches, most carries, but 40th when it came to yards, total yards. That's an ineffective running back, hands down. And by the way, I like Josh Jacobs. I do. You can't see it. There's a football by him. I got like 2 of his jerseys. I got his gloves. He threw me his gloves in Chicago. I like Josh Jacobs. Don't tell Josh Jacobs that Captain Jack don't like you. That's bullshit. I do. I had a chance to talk with him. I like the fact that he wants to be a Raider. I like that. But I'm talking about you need somebody for the team effort. Mike Sarah, he hasn't broken a big run because he hasn't played enough. Come on, man. Go back and see how many touches Zamir White has had all season.
Yes.
Okay, we have running backs. We just said it. We have other running backs that are leading. I mean, there's 39 other running backs ahead of Jacobs, and they have less touches. Jacobs coming off of being the leading rusher the year before should at least be middle of the fucking pack, if not top 10, but he's 40th. Look it up. I'm actually sure after last week, he's even lower. That means there's backup running backs who are more effective than Josh Jacobs has been all year.
Okay. Well, Craig and Mike, first off, thank you for watching, Craig Gilmore and Mike Sarah. Thank you for watching. And your opinions matter, but I'm just telling you. I know what Zeus White is capable of doing. I know what he's capable of doing at UGA. I know what he's capable of doing, okay? And he hasn't been afforded the opportunity. He's a different type of running back. He's a
north and south. He makes one cut and it goes north and south. That's Zeus White right there. It shows in that touchdown he got last game. He got the ball, one slight little cut, north and south, broke through the line, broke into the end zone. That's Zeus. That's his running style, and it's going to work, and it's going to wear down defenses. That's what Zeus does. Zeus is one of those running backs, like Jacobs was last year, where at the end of the game, he's going to be more effective and more explosive because that defensive line is tired of taking the pounding that they're getting. But when you mix it up with your other running backs, Abdullah, who could catch out of the backfield. Bolden, who took a direct snap from fucking, 30 damn yards, 34 yards, whatever it was, for a touchdown to change it up. All that starts with Zeus pounding the line and those defensive linemen not wanting to take the pounding that they keep taking. He's the north and south runner.
And that was a great play. It's hard to believe that was a play that was in Josh McDaniels' playbook because it was there.
I don't know if it was. I'm wondering if that was one of those ones that Hardegree was able to sneak in for himself, one of his own plays, because of what he was going. Maybe. Remember, Hardegree was in the booth this week and not on the field, so he was able to see the defensive lineups and everything and call plays slightly different. And I wonder if there's a play or two that he keeps adding of his own into this playbook outside of what Josh McDaniels. Majority of it's Josh McDaniels. We know that. We can't argue it. We have to deal with it. Until week 17 hits, we're stuck with this playbook. But I wonder if he's just throwing a couple of his own in there, and if that might have been one of his.
That might have been one because, again, that doesn't look like anything McDaniels that I've ever seen.
That's it. Ever. Even with the Patriots, you don't see that.
Exactly. So, it had to be like wow, who the fuck thought up that play? And Craig and Mike, like I said, I'm all about results. I don't play fantasy fucking football. I don't play fantasy football. I'm all about getting the win, getting the W. I want the results. Just win, baby, right?
I do play fantasy football, and when it comes to the Raiders, I don't give a fuck. Whether I have a Raiders player or somebody else, when it comes to the Raiders, I don't care about fantasy at that particular moment. But in the end, numbers matter. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
You have 200 plus carries, and you're 40th. 40. There's only 32 teams in the league. You're 40th when it comes to running backs as far as yards. Yards per carry. Touchdowns. We had 2 running backs get a touchdown. Name a game, and I think there was only one that Jacobs had 2 touchdowns in the game.
Yeah, see, people here are thinking that we're hating on Josh Jacobs or we're hating on Devontae Adams. I'm not hating on anybody. I'm talking about fucking results. If you don't like what we're talking about, seriously, if you don't like what we're talking about, then come on in. Yeah, Craig, that is true. He's not good at picking up the blitz, but that Amir Abdullah is, and that's why he's in.
Who's not good at picking up the blitz?
Zeus is not as proficient at picking up the blitz. That is true.
Why is that? Why is that? Because he hasn't had the time to be able to be in the game, to be able to learn how to pick up. He's even said at the beginning of the season, if you listen to any of his interviews, that's a part of his game that he knows he has to improve on and is trying to improve on. And the only way you improve on that is by being in the game and actually picking up the blitz.
Okay, hey, Craig, Mike, Sarah, come into the show. I talked to all of us. And Craig come into the show. I know that Mike Sarah was in here because he said, fuck this, I'm coming in, and Mike Sarah was here. Come on in the show. We got some time. Come in the show. I will. There's the link again.
Hey, I'll go head to head. I'll step out and let them have their say. If you guys want, we're trying to get a segment on my show called, an actual cage match. Come on my show tomorrow. We'll go head to head in a cage match.
Yeah, there you go. That's another opportunity for you to go one-on-one in the cage match with Asylum. Prove your point. That's more. Hey, Asylum, when is your show tomorrow?
Well, our show's usually 7 o'clock Central, which will be 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock. I'm sorry. Yeah, Eastern, 5 o'clock Western, Sometimes we run a little late, but that's the general time. Tomorrow we should be on time. It's our we're having special guests. We have Peggy being on tomorrow. We might have Demon King on tomorrow, and we might actually have Raider Man on tomorrow. So we've been looking for somebody to go. Actually, what started it with Miss Peggy was me and her were supposed to go head to head in a cage match over Marcus Peters. Unfortunately, the Raiders listened to the show, cut Peters like I was saying, so they kind of eliminated the cage match. But me and her disagreed about Marcus Peters, and we were ready to go head to head. And trust me, going head to head against her, I was going to need my homework.
Hey, Craig, thank you for that. Like I said, I appreciate everybody. I give people the opportunity to come in, and Mike was in here, and I said if you want to come in, please do, because I let everybody voice their opinion, because and if you guys don't believe me, the gentleman by the name of Francisco Pancho, the unbelievable stupid prick that he was, I gave him the opportunity to come in here, okay? And I dropped his ass because he was a stupid, brain dead motherfucker. And he was, saying that he's going to meet me in the parking lot to show that he was more of a Raider fan. And come on, man, that's
come on. First of all, it goes back to one of my segments. Know your fucking history. There's a history when it comes to Raiders fans and super fans. You're one of the OGs. I mean, I've been doing this as a super fan, believe it or not, going on 10 years now. And I'm still, low end, considered even a rookie. I don't question anybody's fandom, but I'll question their fucking knowledge.
Yeah. Well, like I said, but it's come in. And Mike Serra has been on, and I appreciate that. Craig Gilmore, you can come on. Anybody come into the show. I will put the link up again.
Let Captain know. I'll go head to head with you. If not, I'll step out and let you speak your piece, and I'll say my shit in the comments. It's okay.
Yeah.
I got my own show. I don't need it.
You don't need my show. I got my own show.
No, I was just going to say, I don't need to be on here taking up all the time. If there's people who want to come up and say something.
I got you. And you know what, Asylum? I appreciate you coming in. I'm going to kick your ass out because you got your own show. You don't need my show.
Hey, if it wasn't for your show, I wouldn't have my show. So I appreciate you for that, Captain.
You know what? And like I said, I will try to come in tomorrow. I will try. Best to you. Best to Oakland Raiders Savage. Oh yeah. And tell his sister I said hi to.
Oh, I'm sure you'll have your chance, Captain. I'm sure you will.
Okay. Hey, take care, partner. We'll see you.
All right. See you tomorrow.
All right. That's Asylum. Remember, tomorrow it's the cage match. It's his YouTube show, The Cage Match. Asylum, Oakland Raiders Savage. They go there, and that's why I have my show. It's like, if you want to come in and voice an opinion, come on in. It's John. Look for The Cage Match. The Cage Match. I don't have. Let me see here. I don't have. Just look for The Cage Match on YouTube. Asylum got Captain in the belly. Yeah. Yeah. And he said, well, there was the who's got the better beard. Who's got the? Mine is more coiffed because I have a beautiful. I'm going to say this. I have a beautiful stylista that does my beard. Okay, and Asylum, he got a bigger belly than me, so he went. If you want to come into the show, please do. Hit up The Cage Match. Remember, that's tomorrow. I'm starting at 7:30. Okay, I get it. Please come in and watch Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West on my show, on my channel. It's not my show. I do a Wild Wild West roundtable with 3 other guys in the AFC West. I think it's a great show. And I don't do just say, oh, it is. It's entertaining. We all have great rapport with each other. We can't stand each other's teams, but it's great rapport. It was the angle, but the belly as well. Yes, it is. Yeah, he was doing the side view. I'm doing the full frontal, and it is well earned. Hey, that's a lot of food. It's a lot of years, a lot of food. So again, if you want to come in, there's only about 10 minutes. Only about 10 minutes. So if you want to come into the show, do it now, because I'm cutting it at 2 hours. Anyway, John, and one of the things. And by the way, Sean Kelly was in here. Thank you for being that. That was somebody I didn't get a chance to. John Leon was talking about as well that the Raiders signed a defensive tackle from the Panthers. Good to know, because we need beef. That's like the old expression, "Where's the beef?" Hey, Ed. Happy holidays to you, and Ed, thank you, sir. You know I'm a phone call away, Ed. If you guys have my number, I'm a phone call away. And I do answer most of the time. Most of the time. So if you're just getting over Hanukkah, if you're getting ready for Christmas, if you're getting ready for Festivus, if you're getting ready for Kwanzaa, happy holidays to you. We got the new year coming in. So there you go. I appreciate everybody being here. I said it doesn't look like anybody wants to come in. That's fine. I thank you. I do. I thank you for watching the show. See, Sean Kelly gets it. Thank you, Sean. Where's the beef? We need beef. We need beef. We do. We need beef. Little old lady just screaming, "Where's the beef?" We need beef. We need guys that are going to push the pocket. And I like the kid that we picked. He was on our practice squad. He played for Florida State. Oh, my God. I can't remember. He just put in. He just came in like Robinson. Robinson, that's his name. Yeah. Kid was pushing the pocket at defensive end. Coons is just playing like with his hair on fire at defensive end. Max has instilled that. Well, Nichols earlier, okay. Butler recently, okay. The D line is playing like they should, and the linebackers, Diablo and Masterson, and of course my boy Spillane, playing like they should. And once they get rid of Ole Peters, Ole! The D-backs, Amik Robertson, Bennett, the corners playing well. The defense, and again, I've said it. If the defense is, if you like what you see and you want to keep Graham, great. I'm not saying fire Graham. I never said that. But let's say, for example, if Buddy Ryan was available, I know he's dead. I know his kids. I get it. But if Buddy Ryan was available for the defense, wouldn't you go after Buddy Ryan? Wade Phillips is available, although he plays the 3-4. He's available. Wouldn't you go get Wade Phillips? I like that Graham's is installing and the kids are going and they're playing the defense the way they should. Max Crosby and Spillane are kicking ass. That's what I'm saying. And Johnson, the cornerback that we got for a flyer, right? For nothing from the Patriots. Had that pick six. They're playing well together. I get it. I get it. Okay, and cool, Kevin. Yeah, that's true. Bumfield. Get Bumfield. Bum's dead. But if you had a guy like that available, wouldn't you go get him? I like Graham. But then you have to weigh. What is he going to do with the defense? Is he going to destroy what we had, or is he going to make it better? That's the point. Now on offense, Bo is playing with as much as he can. But he's not an offensive coordinator. He's not. He's still young. Get a good, above average, say great. Wouldn't it be great to have a great offensive coordinator? Maybe one of these guys that is these offensive coordinators that are getting their head coaching jobs next year, the guys underneath them that know their system. Wouldn't it be great to have them come in after they've done their job as a offensive assistant, right? And they move up. Wouldn't it be great to have that guy as the offensive coordinator? Or if somebody gets shit canned, that's a real offensive coordinator and needs a job, bring him in. That's what I want. That's my present next year. And by the way, I know I've said this. I'd like to see another fucking Lombardi before they plant my ass. I want to see one. I want to see another fucking Lombardi before they plant my ass. And Craig, yeah, I agree with that. I do. We've leaned on the stars, but you know what? Crosby's been there all the time. Jacobs, I know it was it AP saying we're gonna have that strong attack, right? Okay. But I don't care. I don't care about the person. I care about the result. I care about how much yardage we have as a running backs or what the running backs have in yardage, not which player had the most yards. I don't give a fuck. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not, and thank you, Craig, for saying that, yeah, well, you're fucking wrong. Okay. I get it. I'm not right all the time. I once thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken. Figure that one out. I once thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken. It's the way it is. But I allow people to pop in. And Craig said that, this, that, and the other thing. Craig, thank you. And Mike, Sarah, man, me and Mike agreed on something when he came in on the show. Like, wow. It was good to see Mike, too. He was there. He was there, man. He was like walking around doing the shit. Thank you, Mike. And thanks, everybody, for being here. And you know what? Like I said, Matt Marinovich never comes in, but he's always in the comments section, and I thank him. The people that are here, I thank you. I do. I thank you because you keep coming in, and I appreciate you. I do. I'd give everybody, if I had the money. Let me say this. I would give all the dudes. I would buy them a lap dance at a strip club if I had the money. And for the gals, I would buy them a dick dance at one of those Chippendale clubs. I'm equal opportunity. I ain't gonna watch, right? I ain't gonna watch, but I appreciate you. I do. I don't have the money for any of that shit. I don't have the money for me to do it. And cheers to you, Craig. Thank you as well. And Cool Kess is Brian Flores. Well, Brian Flores, is he going to leave his job? It's not up to us. It's up to Mark Davis finding the right general manager and that general manager talking about who the head coach is going to be. And the general manager with the head coach figures out who the offensive coordinator is going to be. And all of those people figure out what players are going to play in the system. That's the way it is. Right? That's the way it is. But again, it was a Tuesday night. Thank you for Peggy for being here. Remember, just chopping it up with Miss Peggy. She will be on tomorrow. The cage match, look at that, the cage match, sometime after my show. I think they're on like around the same time I am. But stay with me on the Wild Wild West. I'm just saying. Stay with me on the Wild Wild West show. Sorry, Asylum, I'll be honest. Wild Wild West starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Cage match, I think, is at 8. But I'm telling you, stay with me. You're gonna enjoy the AFC West aspect. And then when we're done, come on over to go in a cage match. Is that acceptable, Simon? I think so. It's like a lead. So thank you again. And do we need the quarterback? Well, that depends on who the GM and the OC is and the head coach, right? We don't know. Because Mark Davis ain't asking me, and he ain't asking you either. You can bitch, moan, and groan all you want, but it ain't going to happen unless Mark Davis says you're going to decide. Okay, works for you. All right, thanks, Sal. Cage match tomorrow. Wild Wild West tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern. Then we got NFL Nation Live, 6 o'clock Eastern on Thursday, back to our regular time. 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern, NFL Nation Live, myself, Violator, and Rev Guru. And then I'm going to have a show at 9. Can't beat that with a stick. And then on Sunday, I'll do another show. And maybe on Christmas, depending upon if I have the druthers, if I can, maybe I'll do a show after Christmas. On Christmas, after the game. If it's on CBS, I can't even watch the fucking game. I got to put my other TV up and get it from, it's not on cable for me. Anyway, fuck it. See you tomorrow. Wild Wild West show, 7:30 Eastern. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Peggy, for being here. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Asylum. Thank everybody that's here now. Thank you. Like it, share, push it up. Do all of the comments afterward as well. Take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.